Hello and welcome to IRL F1 today for Brazil round 10. Today of course you'll probably be wondering why Jared's not speaking. It's because today I'm going to be lead com, so just a switch for today. Of course Brazil going down into turn 1 is probably the best overtaking spot, and then there's also quite a good one going down into turn 4, and apart from that, it's really going to have to be capitalising on mistakes, which can be done around here, for sure, as quite a lot of people seem to be coming out right now. I'll just get up all this on the screen for you, so you can see a little more. It looks like a Williams is first. Can't actually see that. Okay, Gavin, there it is. And of course, Jared, you can say hello, I guess.
Well, good evening, guys. I am here, of course, as Kevin has explained. He is the main commentator, as Pedro will be, I believe, always Williams. Gavin's actually the first one to start off.
Oh, and Julio already got a 5th-place grid penalty for a collision with someone. I'm not completely sure where that was, but I'm going to stay on board with Gavin anyway. Coming through turn 3 right now, flat out. It's easy to go wide there and invalidate, but for now he's alright coming into turn 4 now. You don't want to go wide here either. It's a lot of just keep it within track limits, and he does just that now. Coming, he's actually finished sector 1. Sector 1's a bit earlier than I thought anyway. Coming through sector 2, where is basically where you're going to gain all of your time down to 2nd gear, and then short shifting up to 4th gear to get as much traction as he possibly can, taking a lot of curb. And that's actually an invalidation. Seems to be a trend every week that people invalidate quite a bit, and Gavin's lap is going to be over, so we're going to try and find whoever it is behind him. Then that looks like Faz. Of course, he's going to be purple in sector 2, no one set lap just yet. Coming down to finish his lap, getting right up on the curb. Not sure if that's a better line or if that was just a mistake, but regardless, he's going to set a 6.5, and his teammate of Legende, actually, I think that's a reserve for today, sets a 6.8. So it seems Pedro has just a little bit of an advantage right now early on, as pretty much everyone's out on track bar Nino and Kieran McDonald, as Matthew has to spin in turn 1 or at a moment or something. I'm not sure if you caught that, Jared. I just caught the end of it.
Unfortunately, I did miss that. And also, as just a clarification, Matthew will not be starting last today. He will be doing that at Singapore, which will be a hard track for him to get round people, so we will have a very interesting race there. But Gavin then, who was the first to do a lap, hasn't he said, so that's a shame for him. But we have got lap times on the board. Thomas in first with a 6.3, Pedro second with a 6.5, and Devin with a 6.8 yet again, Kevin.
Yeah, Devin certainly showing that he can be there. He is a little bit off right now, but I'm sure he can improve. I mean, we've seen other names like Rocco, of course. I'm sure he can go faster. Devin, of course, can go faster. Even Pedro, I'd say, has a little more pace in him at least. Thomas with the early advantage. Now Nino in the McLaren is starting his lap, going through, and as I said, it's kind of a case of don't go too wide, and he's gone just a little over the limit as his teammate Kieran McDonald there was coming out. Maybe they were planning a strategy there that's obviously not going to work out quite as they'd hoped. So that's Nino's lap over. He stays right now at least in P16. Devin must be on an in-lap then, so more or less people just finishing up to finish their first runs, so they can come out later as a few more people join the stream. Feel free to talk in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it at least, so if you have any predictions as well, which neither of us did, Jared. We seem to always forget for quali.
Yeah, we do actually. I've noticed this season we haven't really done it that much, but You can do it now if you want, as if you want to take the lead in the prediction.
Yeah, well, if Matthew's going to settle up, he's actually, it looks like he just set a purple Sector 2. He's going to come up to the line, so we'll keep on board with him for a second. It's surely, no, it's actually not. It's going to be P5, a 6.9, so maybe a little disappointing. Definitely can do better. Of course, he is the champion for this season as well, so you would expect him to do better as well. But I would say Matthew Waller will take the win today. Well, why am I going? I'm jumping the gun. he'll take pole anyway, is what I'm saying. Second, of course, we saw Devin last week do well. I'm gonna put Cornelius Korbach in second as he comes out to prepare for his lap now. He's currently on a 7.2. He can definitely improve. He's proved in that in the last few races as well, taking the win at Hanoi. So that will be second, and I'll put Devin in third, that he puts in another good performance.
Well then, Nina's now coming to the line then, and he goes a 189 invalid, which wouldn't have put him high up at all. That actually put him fourth. But hang on a minute, sorry to actually stop my prediction. D has crashed somehow in turn 1. He's gone off there. He's trying to reverse safely so he doesn't get disqualified. But he's currently third on a 1.6.7. But as I said, I will do my prediction now then. I have to agree with you, Matthew taking the win and taking pole with my prediction this quali session, with Cornelius in second, Thomas third, and I'm going to give them Planet D in third. I think he can actually perform quite well around here, and he seemed to have got the pace. He may be a bit off, but I think he could easily improve, as we saw last week. So just have to wait and see.
Yes, of course, anything can happen. Of course, at the very start, we saw... Oh, that's Ollie Flavel going around? That's... not completely sure what turn. That's just before Sector 3. You'll have to keep out of the way of some cars coming through. Also Williams, I think of Gavin now, who previously invalidated his lap. Yeah, he's coming through the final corner now. I'm not sure how good this lap was. Of course, we haven't been following him. He'll get a little bit of slipstream from Ollie there just before he finishes his lap, so that will help him out. Coming up to the line, he's on softs as well, and that will be P10, and instantly gets dropped to P11 as was that I'm not actually sure, was it Julio going 6th?
No, it was Rocco who moved to 4th, I think.
No, I think he was already there.
Might be. It might have been one of the racing points, but they're looking quite right now. See, Cornelius goes 6th quickest there in the Ferrari with a 6.8. Matthew's still in the pits then, hasn't set a lap time yet. Well, actually has set a lap time, but hasn't set another lap time, as we do have 9 minutes. So I think Matthew will be going out on the lap soon, as Nino, I think, might be peeling into the pits there. So.
Yeah, I've just caught Devin getting ready for his lap if you want to go on board with that, Jared.
Yep, go on board Devin, as he goes a bit on the grass there. It's going to help him. He's going straight down the wide outside line in turn 1. Takes tight entry, bit of lock up, hits the curbs, trying to make it as straight as possible through there, through Senna's corner. Literally taking the shortest route possible. DRS activated, and he's going down the straight as for some reason Pedro's outlap pit thing is glitched for me, and he's actually glitching out. So yeah, okay, that's... I don't know if you're having that.
What glitch?
It was where Pedro apparently was in the pits, they're not in the pits, like usually switching.
Well.
Right now though, Devin into the crucial sector 2. This is where your aero package is needed, because this is where you can gain most of the time. Goes into 3rd gear, and as we said, we saw Devin do well in Spain in quali. He got a 1-2 in quali. Unfortunately, he can't score points. He's purple right now, so he could be challenging on for pole position. So as Devin finally got some pace and ready to show Matthew that he's got what it takes, maybe for a possible teammate next season. And this is the F2 champion. Devin then comes to the line and he does a 1.66, that's the quickest. So it was only roughly 2 tenths improvement, just less than that. but he will be happy with third at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure you will be. Of course, last week I'm not sure if he ended up on the podium in the end, but he if he didn't, he certainly could have, because I'm pretty sure he got a little bad luck with safety cars. So, am I remembering this right?
What? Sorry,
That like Devin did or didn't get a podium last week? I don't think he did. That he was on course for one, and then safety cars messed with it, right?
Oh, Nino, you.
Finish the sentence.
Devin literally stopped on the track, letting somebody through, and then Nino decides, oh, let's just plough right into him, and somehow they get a 5 grid. So he's lucky. Devin won't be happy with that. But no, Devin didn't get a podium because his teammate kind of screwed him over in the pit, so he went on a bit different strategy.
Oh yeah, that is, yeah.
So yeah, hopefully Devin can get a podium today.
Yeah, and I'd say really he deserves it. He's obviously taken the F2 titles, moving up to F1. He's certainly doing very well. Nino, after the incident with Devin, of course, I didn't quite catch it, but he's coming to turn 1 once again. He invalidated here on his first run at least, and it looks like he's not going to invalidate now, so he's going to be able to continue through turn 3, now coming down towards turn 4, DRS in activation. There's an Alfa Romeo, actually 2 Alfa Romeos just ahead of him on track. Luckily for him, he does have a gap. Now coming up to the swooping right-handers of turn 6 and turn 7, you want to be flat out more or less going through turn 7 to maximise your exit and speed generally through those corners. Through the exit of turn 9 now, I saw someone else use 4th gear on the exit. Maybe that's a better gear to use. He used gear 3, didn't have as good traction. Now coming through to finish a lap. Oh, there is one of those Alfa Romeos I talked about just before turn 12. He doesn't get affected by it anyway. He's going to hug the left hand side of the track. We saw I think Pedro do that on his lap earlier as well, so he's going to come up to the line. He runs out of ERS just before the line, but it's a P6 for Nino. With his, or 7 actually now. I think someone improved then, or I saw it wrong. But yeah, P8. Anyway, that's not too bad for Nino. For Nino right now, I don't think. I think he'll be pretty happy with that, at least for now. As a
there's actually one thing to actually include on that lap. He's on 5 lap old softs.
That's actually true as well.
And they'll be used, they'll probably be at least 30%. So he's probably going to go on pits, get fresh softs, and may do a low 6 and could be challenging on for pole. As also Legenda is doing the exact same as Casper, as he has returned. He's done 5 laps in softs, currently in 13th. But Ryan, the former F2 champion, has actually validated his lap. But currently, both Reynolds, 18th and 17th here, Kevin.
Yeah, 17th and 18th for them. Of course, I don't actually know of his actual name, Zeus. Do you know?
I think it ends with Ethan, I believe.
Ethan. Well,
or he likes to be called Ethan. I could be wrong. Just at the moment, just call him Ethan. I will try and find that info out for you right now.
Okay, well, regardless, he's, of course, you said he is last at Ryan, alongside him on the final row of the grid. He is going to be trying to improve. Of course, his lap, to be fair to him, was on mediums as well, so certainly room for improvement, as there's a Ferrari just ahead of him. I think that might be Ollie Flavel. I'm not completely sure, actually. Yeah, it was Ollie. He's on an outlap, so he gets by him with not too many issues. Might have suffered a little bit of dirty air. Now coming through the crucial turn of turn 12, one of the final corner that matters at least, and that will affect your exit all the way down towards the line really. And he comes up to the line anyway. He's currently 17th, and he's going to improve to 12th with a 7.0, so he might not be too happy seeing himself in 12th, and I'm sure he can improve on that at least. He might not actually be able to, though. He doesn't have much time left. So it looks like everyone's really going on for their final runs, as we see Cornelius coming out of the pits there as well. And his Ferrari teammate, Ollie Flavel, is also on a lap. He's coming through turns 6 and 7 now. And now 8 and 9. These are... you gotta really keep the flow through these corners and have not a nice exit out of here, because traction can really mess up your exit into turn 10. But it looks like he's been pretty okay. He's currently 16, so he'll be looking for a significant improvement as Devon finishes up for his quali. He doesn't think he can improve, or doesn't think that he could get a lap in. But Ollie's coming up to the line now. He activates DRS. It looks like he's going to have DRS up to the line now, and he's P12. So 7.0, quite a few people actually. I've just noticed Gavin and Zeus on identical lap times on a .067.
Oh yeah.
And Gavin, speaking of Gavin, I've just started spectating him as he crashed. So that's unfortunate, I guess. Looks like he crashed out of turn 5, maybe turned in and got caught in the curb, I think.
Probably, but right now I'm on board with Lee, who's on a flying lap right now, just passing his teammate. His teammate's cutting it very late to do a lap, so Brian probably will be the last person to begin a flying lap. Lee, nice and tidy through sector 1. He's going through the S section, he goes on 5th I think at that point, because he went really high on the revs. But right now then, through, as I said, this crucial part of the circuit where you've got to have the most downforce, and Lee's really pushing the car. You can just see him now trying to get as much grip, much turning, much acceleration, traction, everything, all the way above, get a good lap time. He's currently set at 7.2. Now if he just improves by a little bit, probably 4 tenths, 3 tenths, he could be in at the top 10. So let's see what Lee can do. As Devin is in second with a 6.3, as Thomas is still first with 6.2, so nobody else has been able to beat it. But here comes Lee then. What time will he do? He comes to the line, and it's a 7 flat, only improved by a tenth and a bit. And then he goes 16th.
Yeah, and a tiny improvement could see him in P13 as well. So you can see the fine margins, as there seems to be an incident. I think that was to do with Cornelius and Lewis, I think. Lewis Curtis as well. Involved in that.
Tried to avoid action. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing in turn 3, but
I think they're letting the drivers through because we're still on laps.
Yeah, and I think I'm... Oh, Matthew's invalidated again. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve on P12, Jared.
That's interesting.
I mean, of course he has the championship wrapped up, so it's not a massive deal for him, but I'm sure he would have preferred to have gotten that lap in, as most people more or less has finished their laps. Ryan here, and I think he's done for the day. His engine revs seem very low. Yeah, he's coming into pits. So now, Brandon is also invalidated, so no one else is ever going to be setting laps. So, a little unnoticed, I feel, because he set his lap a little early on and then improved on it. I guess we didn't really notice. Thomas, and actually Ryan Heeran ended up P2. He was right at the back of the grid. His original lap wasn't amazing, but he's really improved and put himself on the front row of the grid in a really good position for the race.
There's a good position to lead then in the back of the grid. Matthew Aldick in 14th. And yeah, as you said, he has claimed a title, championship. As you know,
Devin has a 5-place grid penalty along with Julio. So I think he got that from Nino, didn't he?
Probably, or probably with somebody else. But as I said, go down the grid results.
Yeah, as I said, Ryan Heeran taking P2, very good for him. Pedro Sousa 3rd. Devin with a 5-place grid penalty in 4th. Rocco Walsh in 5th. Lewis Curtis 6th. Julio in 7th, again with a 5-place grid penalty. Kieran McDonald 8th. Nino 9th. Brandon Glover 10th. Casper Ging 11th. Cornelius in 12th. Matthews in 13th. I think Matthew Alder in 14th, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Matthew Alder was 14th.
And I just missed the last few there, but got most of it at least.
Well, we can go down the rest of the grid in the formation lap, and we will do our race predictions as well. As I said, I'll let you lead for that, and you make your prediction, then I'll decide mine, and then we'll see how the race can go, and see if there's any accidents into turn one, because last season, Brazil, Mr. Francis, started, I believe, midfield and spun it on the line. I wonder if we're going to have any of that today for any of the drivers.
So just wait for everyone to get their strategies in order. Will be interesting what people do with the pack, because I'm fairly sure it's a standard medium, soft, medium. Soft medium, or is it a little more finicky, I guess. I'm not sure if the tire wear is worse in this game or not, because I know last game was a soft medium anyway. Hards do get used a little more in this game. And the predicted strategies are a soft hard or a soft medium. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it's what the game has told us anyway.
Very accurate, to be honest. Soft hard is a way to go, but a two-stop is higher, to be honest.
Yeah, Matthew Alder was in 14th, then it was Ollie, Gavin, Zeus and Lee at the back of the field. Julio, oh yeah, because I think what happened there was Julio, since he was still in the top 10, has to start on softs despite now being outside of the top 10, so that's unfortunate for him, I guess. So he'll have to fight back through. Luckily for him, he wasn't deeper into all the medium runners, because if he was, then he would have a little more trouble, because once his tires goes off, he would have no chance. Track position on this track kind of, I would say, a little more important than other tracks are. Of course, there are 2 overtaking opportunities, but really, out of turn 3, even with slipstream, you can't always guarantee that you'll be able to be alongside. So Thomas actually has gone quite far ahead of the rest of the grid, so he's really getting a move on anyway. And it looks like someone's in between them. That's Pedro, so he's kind of slotted into second. Of course, that'll get sorted out by the time we get underway.
Is light sequence gonna go, or are we waiting on?
Oh, there we go. I don't quite see the lights, but it sounds at least like there's 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix round 10, and they are out. And it looks like Thomas has had an amazing start. Matthew, oh well, I can barely see. Ryan Heron is in second at least. There's a Force India slotting into third. Looks like everyone's been more or less keeping out of trouble. We can see Kieran McDonald trying a move on Lewis Curtis in the Williams. He can't quite make that work, so Lewis keeps his position for now. And as they funnel through turn 6, Thomas keeps his lead over Ryan here, and in second, Rocco Walsh actually with a pretty good start. I think he's gone up a place. Pedro obviously losing out to him. Lewis Curtis staying in 5th, and then Kieran McDonald just behind him. So the top guys more or less keeping the pretty much as they started. We'll see in the back if anything has really changed. If I can get this.
Nothing really. Ollie's gone to 17th. There's a fight right now between Renault, Zeus and Gavin, who's both set identical lap times. They're going to sell a set right now. Matthew's actually just got a position. No, it wasn't Gavin.
Oh, Nino's in.
Nino may have got wing damage then, may have done an early start, boys. Off with rain. The clouds are quite high right now though. Julio is trying to see what Energy Zeus can do as he's trying to make a move.
I think it's glitching a little because I swear I like spectate someone and it goes to someone else. But we do have Casper trying a move on Brandon. Brandon goes defensive. Casper tried to go around the outside, but Brandon was able to just about hold him off. Brandon, of course, being a little bit ahead, so he was able to keep that position for now. He's in P8 on the softs. Of course, Casper did start on the mediums, just outside the top 10, so he's doing quite well. Of course, most people up one position because of Nino, and then everyone else kind of staying the same. So we'll see Thomas really actually getting that gap. He's up to 8/10 now. DRS will be activated at the end of this lap as we see Ryan clip the curb a little. He had a little bit of a moment almost. He luckily kept it, as everyone's going to just kind of swap fastest laps, it looks like.
Matthew actually is overtaking CC, so CC now back into 11th, so Cornelius lets him through, and Matthew there, both on the same strategy. So are we expecting rain? Because it is cloudy, Kevin, and it doesn't look like it's going to brighten up anytime soon.
Yeah, it is looking a little gloomy right now. You are right about that, at least. Okay, that actually sounds very bad, but yeah, you're absolutely right there, Jared. It's looking a little gloomy. If we see rain or not is another question. The last time we saw rain, I can't actually remember the track, but I do remember that we were kind of thinking about it and ended up coming right at the end, and then it went away again, I think, or something like that. But yeah, it's a possibility. I think if the people outside of the top 10 are on mediums, then it might not be enough at the end. But yeah, you can never count it out.
Takes on Zeus, and Zeus comes back around, actually, around the outside, turn one. Oh, there's a bit of contact with the front wing. He's off. Race Point's trying to go in the middle. This could end in tears. This could be a Singapore Vettel, Verstappen and Kimi moment. Julio is just waiting on the wings for these two to make a mistake.
Yeah, Zeus right on the inside, and it looks like he's going to make the move on Matthews there, as Matthews also really under pressure from Julio, of course. I did mention that Julio being on the softs outside of the top 10, he was kind of not really going to be in the best position with everyone around him on mediums, and that's kind of what's happening right now. All the medium runners getting past him. So, yeah, not the best case scenario for him, at least, in the opening stages of this race. Of course, the safety car can always shake it up. So, we'll obviously have to see. As Lee gets a 3-second penalty running in 16th. And Ryan sets the fastest lap, so he's actually getting a move on, and you can see he's visually closer as he has a little bit of a moment there, and he's kind of going to lose all the gains that he made on Thomas. He's of course within DRS range just about, so that should be helping him out at least to stick with him for now. It kind of seems to be the trend for the top guys at the moment, as someone is in the chat, so I'll have a look at them right now.
How would you do that? CC just made a move on the agenda, 10th place into turn 5. Good overtake, and left each other plenty of breathing space, as Matthew Alden now is trying to catch up with Brandon Glover, who's at the back of the soft runners, and probably will be pitting in the next couple laps. And
that's Sondre saying good evening, so yeah, good evening Sondre, and welcome to the stream.
He's probably drunk again.
Said what we were all thinking. I mean, he got McDonald's, so maybe not this time. I mean, I'm not sure if he wanted to go get a drink while having a McDonald's, but I mean, he is Sondre at the same time. Anyway, yeah, it looks like really the top guy's kind of just dying down, as actually Matthews and Lee are going at it right now. As I think Lee has been spun around. Lee's actually out. virtual safety car as well. Nino will be very upset with that because he would have been hoping for a full safety car. He's way back from the grid on hards. Did you see what happened there, Jared, or...?
Oh, I'm on board Nino right now. See, I think he's just lost it out of turn 2. Tried too much of the power going into turn 3, and he looks like he's just gone straight to the wall.
Yeah, I saw him and Matthews were swapping positions, so they were certainly side by side. So it might have been just a misjudgment by Lee. Maybe it was an incident that they had, but regardless, Lee is out, so that's going to be very unfortunate for him anyway, as DRS gets enabled again, and we are racing, and actually Brandon Glover is right at the back of Matthew Alder. Matthew's going to defend to the inside and out all at the same time somehow. Brandon trying to look to the inside, Matthew covers him off, and now Cornelius Korvac is going to come out of nowhere, trying to go around the outside. He gets around the outside of Brandon Glover. It looks like he's going to have a better exit as well. He's on mediums.
Oh, Gavin's off. Gavin is out at turn 1, lost control, and he's back on control now, in 16th, as Lee has left the session.
Cornelius did get behind. I guess he probably backed off a little bit because of the yellow flags. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't have been allowed to make the move, so wouldn't really have been able to do anything whether he wanted to or not, as a few lockups, although that might just be the game being the game, of course, as Matthew stays ahead. But Cornelius could have almost got past Matthew there, which, knowing Cornelius, I mean, in Hanoi he was properly on it, so if he got past Matthew, which he still might, by the way, because Matthew's not benefiting from anyone's CRS, we could see a fight at least brewing between these two, as Ryan sets another fastest lap. He's actually broken the DRS of Rocco as well. 8/10 behind Thomas. Doesn't look like he's really able to make the gains he needs to make a move, but maybe he doesn't want to make a move either, though. There is a caveat, as actually Pedro's being overtaken, or doing the overtaking on Rocco there. He goes back up to third and retakes his quali position going into turn 4 there. So that was a nice move by him. I guess he got it just before the corner. It looked like he was being overtaken, but it was actually the way around. Oh, and Lewis actually had a little bit of a moment there. Luckily he was able to save it. As his yellow flag stats for Matthews, it looks like. He's on the home... Well, no, the back straight. He's going very slowly. Not sure why. Yeah, is he retiring on track?
Who?
Matthews. He's just stopped at the side of the track now.
No, he's not. Matthews is in 15th. That might be not type.
No, he is in 15th for me as well, but he just retired, I think.
He's right behind Ollie.
Wait. Oh, that was Gavin. Oh, I got it mixed up. That was Gavin off track then.
Oh, so
I'm not sure if he actually probably retired in the pit lane and then his AI went back out probably. Because it was quite close to the pit lane, like he was exiting the pit lane very slow, so that's probably what happened. But at the front now, it looks like Ryan is making gains on Thomas. Of course, the gap behind is 1.5, so we won't really have to worry about anything behind him for now. He'll need a better exit out of this corner, especially to at least close up to give him a chance into turn 4. But it doesn't look like he's quite able to do it. You can see in the straight they're pretty much equal. He's just not close enough to benefit from slipstream. DRS, of course, helping him just at the end to gain by about a tenth, but it's just not really that. He needs just a little extra boost to get alongside, as we get a nice shot of his front wing opening for DRS going into turn 4. So yeah, the top two quite close, and I mean, surprisingly, really, it's like there's no Matthew at the front. It's like, I mean, I almost forgot Matthew was in the race, so I won't lie. He's running P8, 4 seconds behind his teammate. he was on softs in a little bit of a battle. That's really for P3. There's a battle for P1 and a battle for P3 that Pedro is leading this train of what is 5 cars, it looks like. And then, of course, there's the gap back to Massey Walder, who is still under pressure from Cornelius. And actually, to be fair to Brandon Glover, he's on softs compared to the 2 guys ahead of him who's on mediums. So he's actually doing a good job to keep with these guys.
Yeah, he is doing a very good job, and also counting Pedro last season, he did win his home Grand Prix last year against Matthew and Cameron in November, having a fight for them. So don't count out Pedro yet. He's maybe going slow now, but it could be a game plan, to be honest. Back off, get out of dirt yet from Ryan Thomas, go for the undercut strategy, and then literally put foot to the floor and try and win this race.
I just noticed Cornelius got a 3-second pen while following behind Matthew. That's unfortunate for him, because he would have been probably hoping to at least be fighting for position. Now he's going to have to get 3 seconds ahead of Matthew if he wants to beat him. This train looks to be slowly making gains on the top 7 at least. So we'll see, I guess, how that develops. Of course, Devon and Matthew being teammates, maybe Devon will be a little more lenient towards fighting his teammate, and of course vice versa. As that's Pedro going for an undercut in the top 2.
So alright, then he is pitting. Let's go to see what tyres he's going on. He's going on to the hards to the end then, so he ain't going medium. So he's going to try the one stop. Could work out. This has worked out for him before. So could we see another win at his home race as he's leaving the pit lane, and will be at the back of the grid. Nino is still trying his best to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Nino that he hasn't retired yet, because there is a massive gap there, and he is in plumb last. So respect to him for continuing. The top 2 now separated pretty much still by the same amount. It's not really changing. Of course, Thomas, considering Ryan having DRS, he's doing a good job to keep this gap as it is. But actually, it looks like he had a little bit of a mistake, and Ryan's actually going to go for an undercut there. It looked like Ryan was closing up on him, but now he's going to opt to pit. Obviously, this is in response to Pedro's pit stop, and he fits mediums on. So a lap later, he's going to go for mediums compared to Pedro's hard. So that's going to be an interesting difference in strategy. We'll see where he comes out now. He's exiting the pit lane. Pedro is coming around turn 1 right now. It looks like Ryan is going to have him here. Just about. Ryan's going to be a little bit behind Ollie, and we actually get a nice shot up from behind here as well. And yeah, there's Pedro. Pedro did actually close up just a little bit. I think the gap was around 2 seconds, so he gained a little bit, like 2 or 3 tenths on that lap. But those hards are going to be a lot slower for now, at least. We'll see, of course, at the end if Pedro's strategy works out. Of course, also Thomas leading this race. He's stayed out another lap right now. So he's not going to be responding. Of course, maybe he's thinking about that train. He can see, of course, Ryan came out just behind the train, so maybe he's waiting for that train of cars to pit, or maybe he gets a pit stop where he comes out ahead of them and doesn't lose time, which could actually work out for him quite well, as now Matthew moves up into P5. He still hasn't pit either, along with Cornelius, as it looks like Brandon has pit behind them. He was falling behind these 2 guys just not too long ago. So yeah, I'd say that the 2 kind of guys who you'd expect to be winning, doing a good job, both of them, to get through the field. I'm talking about, of course, Matthew and Cornelius. Both of them on mediums. They will be quicker at the end, most likely going on to softs. So we'll have to see how that works out. The gap between Matthew and his teammate now 2.6, and you remember before it was 4 seconds, so they have caught a second and a half since then.
Thomas is in.
And that's in the eventual response to Ryan, but we'll see where he comes out in comparison to the train now. Of course, Ryan Heron hasn't got past Ollie Flavel yet, so we'll see how that works out. Of course, Thomas looks like he's exiting the pit lane now. He is exiting the pit lane now. There's the train, and it looks like it's actually going to be really close between the two. We're going to go on board. They're going to be side by side coming out of the pit lane. It looks like Ryan has actually made the move up into net P1 at least. He's P8 right now. That undercut has worked a treat for him. He pit 2 laps beforehand. Thomas is going to come out, of course, behind the train. Not what he wanted. So Ryan Heron, of course, he previously was an F2, got moved up to F1 for this season, and he's really showing why he should have been there. Thomas right at the back of him. Maybe he might have been looking at a move. Pedro not too far off these guys either, as Thomas gets really, really close. You'd want to be careful, because if he gets a little bit of a tap, he could get wing damage, or he could spin potentially. Pedro, of course, will be looking at this and licking his lips, because his tires, he knows his tires is going to be better at the end. As Thomas opens up DRS, he's going to go to the inside. Ryan's going to squeeze him as much as he can up against the wall, and it looks like he might just have this. Ryan defends beautifully going through turns 1 and 2 and keeps that position. Of course, he hasn't got past Ollie yet though, crucially, and he needs to make that move soon, because if he doesn't, then Thomas is going to put too much pressure on him and most likely make an overtake, as he gets a much better exit as well coming out of turn 5 there. Ryan Heron holding on. If he can make a move in one of these corners, you can see the guys ahead really don't have the tire life compared to the guys behind us. Thomas gets really close again, taps him just a little bit. Pedro obviously closing up on these two. Like these guys ahead of him just really injecting life into this race, because the top 3 are separated now by almost a second. You could put a blanket over the 3.
Well, I have to agree. Pedro right now though in 8 on a hard tyre, 610. Tio doesn't have to pit again, so these lot, Ryan and Thomas, they've got to pit.
Yeah, and here comes Ryan. He might go for a double overtake here. Ollie Flavel goes down the inside of Casper Geing. He's going to go right around the outside of turn 2, and beautiful move from Ollie Flavel, that has to be said. Ryan, of course, trying to make the move on him. Thomas, Thomas is out! Thomas trying to make a move. He was running so close to Ryan. Safety car is out, rightfully so. He's running so close to Ryan through lots of corners, trying to find a way around, and it hasn't paid off. I mean, so unlucky for him. He was running a really, really good race, and we're having a really good battle as well. But everything's died down, and actually, I have to say as well, Matthew Walder, he's leading right now. I'm sure his pit stop wasn't too far away. Cornelius as well. They get to pit under safety car, so they could come out ahead of Ryan. So that's going to be very bad for him. But again, so unlucky for Thomas to crash like that, and we've been kind of robbed of a really good fight we were having as well. And of course, in come Matthew and Cornelius, as you would expect. You can see the train, they are under the safety car rules. Zeus pits, Ollie pits, of course all these guys who stayed out, they've been blessed right now. Of course, as well, Pedro, his strategy for hards, you can see Matthew coming out of the pit lane. It looks like he hasn't quite got past them. Going on the softs, of course, yeah, for the end of this race, and he's going to come out just behind Rocco Walsh, P4. So that has worked out a treat for him and Cornelius as well. Cornelius with a penalty, of course, but at the same time, softs, he should be able to get a gap to most of these guys. So really, you would be expecting Matthew and Cornelius to get through these guys. It's just a case of can people like Ryan and Pedro, who were fighting for the win, hold on. for the remainder of this race. Of course, 16 laps to go, so anything can happen. Still quite a chunk of the race left.
It's actually 18.
Well, I mean racing laps is what I was referring to. I mean, I probably should have specified, but
Those softs aren't going to work. He's doing a 2-stop. There's no way those softs have got 18 laps. 11 at most, because you saw the sort of front runners pit. So I don't think Matthew's going to make them to the end. I think he's done this deliberately, so he can go back to the pits, get a set of mediums on, and try something. Or
I don't know, because Cornelius did the same thing. So I think they're at least planning to go to the end. It's going to be a stretch. But I mean, they of course know how quick they are, so if they can get a gap at the start, then of course at the end their tires might be dead, but maybe that gap might just be enough for them. They might be thinking like that, at least. Of course the 2-stop is also there in case they think that it's not going to work out for them, but if you look at it this way though, what else could they have done? Because if they pit for hards, they're just going to be slow, and if they pit for mediums, they'll have to stop again anyway. So I guess they're just taking a chance with the softs to go to the end.
yeah, they may be praying for another safety car. Could work out. I have seen Matthew do some weird strategies this past couple of seasons, and he's made them pull off and work. So that's the way to see. But right now, my favourite to win this race is Pedro. Yeah, the guys behind him maybe on fresh tyres, mediums, and maybe softs, but they're gonna have to pit again. Like late, like Ryan may not. Ryan may just make him to the end, but those guys gonna be dead. So
yeah, of
Pedro,
course the safety car is going to help out with that. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just kind of pitching in. You could continue, so. Okay, and well, fair enough then. Safety car in this lap right here, and it's going to be controlling the grid. Of course, we'll have to keep an eye on Matthew Waller. Of course, he's on the softs. He should, in theory, have the best getaway of all these guys. Of course, there is timing that comes into it as well. So Ryan really packing up the field to his liking. He is pretty good at these kind of things. I remember in F2 as well, when he raced with me last season, he had his fair share of safety car restarts. Now he's going to go, as Pedro and Rocco were side by side. Rocco might be trying to go down the inside into turn 1. No, he won't. Matthew, of course, staying behind as well, as Devin gets under pressure from Kieran McDonald. Kieran McDonald getting around them up into what is P4, and Kieran actually going around this outside of Matthew. Matthew obviously had a mistake there.
Jender's gone off out of turn 3, no damage on the car. He's always got free, as right now, as you said, you're on board with a fight with actually Devin. Look at Devin!
Yeah.
Where did he come from?
Devin was previously over.
No.
Oh! And he's right off the track. Hopefully he doesn't lose out too much. Down to 11th there. And he's hit Lewis Curtis's round. That's it's not. It's unfortunate, I guess. I mean, he was already off track, so he wouldn't have had as much grip as he would have liked. Devin now down to P12, fighting with Nino now, who's actually looking a little bit laggy, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll get up to the as Matthew Alder, speaking of the front of the grid, gets past Rocco Walsh now for P2. So now he's going to set his sights on Ryan Heron, who's really been doing very well. Of course, he did very well to undercut to undercut Thomas at the start. So he's run. Excuse me. He's run really a perfect race up to now. Matthew getting a little lucky with a safety car, of course. You wouldn't usually be this close at this point in time. Zeus and Cornelius obviously getting through the field quite well. They're up the back of Rocco. Really would be their next target. So if Matthew gets held up by Ryan, if Ryan can put up a good enough fight, then we could see Cornelius and Zeus put a little bit of pressure on Matthew, being that they're all on the same equal tyres. As the chat has kind of come alive a little bit, there are a few people talking in it, so hello guys. As Matthew can't make a move right now, of course Zeus not able to be quite close enough. It looks like he might have got a warning there as well, and if he did, then he might have to be careful for the remainder of this race. Of course, DRS in activation on this lap after the safety car coming in just a few laps ago. As you can see, Matthew's right up the back of Ryan. Ryan should be able to keep him behind for now at least. Coming through turn 7 now, I think it is, as far as I know at least.
Ryan right now is doing a very good job, but I think it's game over for him, and he's just gonna have to pray.
Oh, and Cornelius got another time penalty. Trying to put pressure on Zeus there, but Matthew's going to be putting pressure on Ryan here now. He's going to go around the outside. He's got so much overspeed, and you can see as we look back, he's got right past him and a fastest lap as well. For good measure, so he's gone right past Ryan. Ryan could do nothing about it, and Matthew's up into the lead of this race. Position he'd be a little more used to compared to where he has been in this race, so we'll see of course how those tyres hold up. Speaking of tyres holding up, Pedro's down to P6, Jared.
Yeah, that's true. Pedro is in P6, so he's not having the best solution. I did say those guys on pressure tyres are going to have him, but they shouldn't be able to go to the end. The medium guys could go, but the guys on softs, they shouldn't be able to make it. Those tyres cannot go over that distance. There's yellows.
Oh, and Devon's out and a virtual safety car.
And that could have saved the soft runners. They could decide to pit, go fresh tyres, and lose a bit of grid positions, but they'll have to fight their way through the field. But it isn't going to help them if they don't. So just have to wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think Matthew will be pitting this early because his tyres are still pretty fresh, given the safety car that he had to be under his. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, he had the safety car to help out his softs just go that little bit longer. So yeah, he won't be pitting now, but as you said, he'll most likely have to pit later, as it looks like they're at least close to the safety car ending. As yeah, they get going again. DRS once again enabled. By the way, the two Renaults doing very well right now. It has to be said. It's gone a little unnoticed. Like the Renault as a team running second and third.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Renault team did win the title when Matthew and Sondre were teammates in season 6. Fortunately, they didn't win season 7 because Matthew changed team to Williams. And Renault didn't really have a strong bunch of drivers. But right now, they're doing quite well, and hopefully this could be a team maybe for next season. Needs to pair up as constructors and try and fight against Matthew, because Matthew's basically done mostly the heavy lifting of the constructors this year. Since he really hasn't had a teammate, but finally has a team which has been turning up, and unfortunately he's retired today, so Matthew yet again doing the work. Yeah,
and Tevins left the session as we see Cornelius going down the inside of Rocco Walsh on softs, of course, basically slam dunk move, and he moves himself up into P4, and now he can set his sights on Energy Zeus, unless Rocco can respond, and it doesn't look like he can. Rocco having to stick behind, of course he's on mediums, so he'll be kind of bagging on his tyres being better by the end of this race, so we'll have to stick with him in slipstream at least, as he's Pedro for company behind, just 1.4 seconds down the road. We'll see if his tyres get any better by the end of this race as well, I guess. Of course, him and Ryan pit very just one lap after another. Of course, Pedro going for the hards, thinking that the mediums aren't going to be good enough. Obviously, the mediums are working out a little better for Ryan right now, so might not have been that good of a strategy call. Of course, the safety car when you take that into account. Can't predict everything, so of course Pedro was bagging on no safety car because it's really messed him over now, as you can see down in P6 under pressure, by the way, from Kieran McDonald, who's within 2/10 of him. He's in DRS. Will he go for an audacious move maybe down the inside? No, he's going to stick behind for now. Thinks better of it, as Julio's just a little bit too far back, so Kieran can focus a little more on getting past Pedro. And we also have Matthew really getting away from everyone. 1.6 seconds now.
Oh, yep, you're right there actually. Matthew is going to win. We also have comments from Paco saying that the softs can make it in, or there's a high chance, and they don't have to pit. And I think the best softs to do is 15, so I could prove them wrong.
Oh, never mind. I thought I saw Matthew pitting there. I know, I was about to go mad. But yeah, he's not pitting for now, as Cornelius sets the fastest lap of the race. He's running in P3, and now he's actually got past Energy Zeus. He must have got past him in the previous straight, because I didn't actually notice that. In the slipstream of Ryan here, and now, of course, Matthew got past him a little while ago. He was a few more places up compared to Cornelius. So now Cornelius has made his way through the field, and he's setting his sights on that P2 and maybe P1, as Matthew actually gets a 3-second time penalty.
Interesting. Ryan hasn't got one yet, so Ryan now knows what he's got to do to keep up with, I'm losing it today. Keep up with Matthew. So Ryan's 1.9. He needs to keep that gap.
As now Zeus, everyone seems to be getting penalties now, as Cornelius is on the back of Ryan here, and Ryan here right up to the left trying to break that slipstream, and he does just that really. Cornelius closing, but not quite enough. You can see he's close so much through the center S as we go now. Out of turn 3, he's going to have DRS as well. Of course, Ryan's not going to be benefiting even from slipstream that far back from Matthew. And he's not going to be able to make it into turn 4, so he holds on for another lap. Of course, he doesn't have a pen. Cornelius has 6 seconds so far, so he also has the penalty advantage. Really has the penalty advantage over all of the guys in front. But if I were Ryan, I would be thinking of maybe not making it a move from Cornelius too difficult, because he'll know himself that he won't be able to catch Matthew, but Cornelius has a chance. He's obviously on softs, and he's proven that he can fight Matthew. So maybe if he lets Cornelius through, doesn't make it difficult for him, then he could maybe put a little bit of pressure on Matthew if he can start closing that gap. As here comes Cornelius anyway, he's in the slipstream, doesn't look like he's going to be quite close enough. He might go right around the outside, maybe with late braking, but he's actually going to stick behind for now. Get a better exit, braking earlier to get a more turn in. Now he's much closer. He's going to activate DRS, doesn't use any ERS. He's going to go right down the inside of turn 4, and he's been spun around. Round goes Cornelius. And he's retired on track.
Well, at least it hasn't affected anybody in a way. Can't do that, CC. Oh well.
Definitely not happy with Ryan then. Of course, if anything did happen, then I guess we'll see later on, but yeah, for now Ryan keeps his P2 now. Energy Zeus behind him 1.4 seconds. He's on 10 lap old soft, so I'd say around here the mediums would probably be at least equal, because those softs would be going off by now. You can see the gap that Matthew has. We'll see if it starts coming down now in the last few laps. Zeus with pretty much no ERS. Matthew actually doing very well. Looks like he's doing the best. No one else really having much ERS at their disposal.
Yeah, right now lap 30 and at 36, so is Paco going to actually be able to prove me wrong? Because right now it looks like he is. Because on lap 30 Matthew's tyres don't look worn out yet.
Yeah, and he's still increasing that gap to Ryan as well. So he's doing what he has to do. He's actually, by the way, Matthew having a pen, he has got out of the window, so he will actually take the win if it finishes like this. But if Ryan starts closing right at the end, then, I mean, he only has to close 3/10, so if those mediums become better, we could see Ryan come back at him and win on pens. But if that does happen or not, of course we'll see. Rocco also under pressure from Zeus. He's actually got past Zeus for P4, so obviously the mediums seem to be doing better, or at least his mediums anyway. His mediums being 2 laps fresher than Ryan's, and he's actually getting a move on. He seems to be closing in on Ryan. He could be able to snatch a P2 here.
That's true, actually.
As we have yellow flags, it looks like for a Williams of Lewis Curtis. I'm gonna say he probably spun on his own. It is a place where you can spin. Energy Zeus now in the slipstream in DRS, but not close enough to make a move right now. As you can see, Rocco 1.5 seconds behind Ryan. He is trying to get a move on now. He can see that P2, and he can kind of like maybe taste a little bit. Maybe that it's possible. Now 1.4 seconds at the end of the straight, so obviously maybe using a little more ERS. Of course, neither of them benefiting from anything at the moment, and if Rocco can get within that 1 second window, then DRS and slipstream could be the difference. But right now the gap seems to be kind of stabilizing. Pedro also on hards right now. He's right up the back of Zeus as well. If Rocco's anything to go by, then those softs are at least dying out. And actually, look, Ryan suddenly just closed on Matthew a little bit there. He dropped it back down to 3.3. He only needs to close 3/10 to beat Matthew. That is an interesting prospect now, because those softs seem to be kind of going off. We can kind of see with Zeus, compared to Pedro, those hards being a lot better than his. And you can see the exit actually that Pedro got compared to Zeus. He's not going to be close enough to make a move right now into turn 4, as Zeus closes up just a little bit more to Rocco under DRS. But again, not enough to be making any moves at this point, at least, as Rocco loses out a little bit to Ryan as well. And Matthew seems to have actually responded. He's got 3.8 seconds now. So, yeah, he probably just made a mistake.
IRL's got to count in. Ryan's on 20 lap mediums, so, and they're going to be blistering. So everyone's tyres are blistering, and I'm surprised Matthew's managed to keep the pace, as the rain has stayed away for the whole race. Matthew now building the gap now 3.9, 4 seconds. So Matthew's now starting to go the pace, because he now realises he does sets the new fast start 1.8.5. So he's got a lot of tyre life left on those tyres.
Oh, the bad thing about what he's done though is he's used a lot of his ERS. Ryan will have a lot more at his disposal. Of course, that push lap is the reason that Matthew was able to get away by like the 7/10ths that he did. So we'll see if Ryan can do anything in the final 3 laps. Laps 34 out of 36, of course. Doesn't look like Ryan's really under pressure from Rocco. You would expect Rocco to be closing with the 2-lap fresher tyres. He should have at least a slight advantage, but doesn't look like that's quite coming into effect right now, as Pedro's actually been overtaken by Kieran McDonald now. So those cards really not working out for him.
That is true.
And Kieran had a little bit of a moment as well. Out of turn 12 now through 13, 14 and 15. That's all on this long straight. If you count them as corners, then I think you need to get checked out. But anyway, we see Kieran McDonald making a move on it and Zeus now. Those softs seem to really be going off, and you can see the exit compared to Pedro as well. Once it gets into the straight, it looks like he just has a little bit more straight line speed. As maybe Zeus was thinking about a move on Kieran, but not quite close enough to utilise on that slight advantage on the straight. So Kieran will take P4 now. So he's actually made 2 overtakes. So he's on a bit of a charge, Kieran McDonald.
I do see that. He's doing a very good job at it. See if he can keep the momentum to the end of the race. There's 1 lap 35. So right now the gap between Matthew and Ryan stabilised 3.9 seconds. But Matthew has proven me wrong. So GG to Matthew is Kieran then 4th. Oh, Amity, I believe that is. Guess that is Kieran.
Okay, a little bit of a glitch. Oh no! It looks like Faz has kind of broke obviously too late, and he's hit Zeus. Both of them demoted to 9th and 10th. Others around that will be thankful for the extra 2 spots, but massive crash between those two. Faz coming off a lot worse. He's got no more wing now. So yeah, Faz obviously when he tried to go for a move, but obviously it didn't work out. As Zeus seems to... Does he have damage? Doesn't look like he does, so he's okay in that sense, but he has lost quite a few positions now. And he'll most likely be fuming in that cockpit, as Matthews has now got up the back of him, and as Ryan has actually been overtaken by Kieran McDonald now.
And Julio.
Ryan's Julio, that is.
He's got a puncher right front.
Oh,
he's got a puncher somehow with that right front. Oh, he's just hit someone. Ollie's hit him. Ryan has had a bit of karma, and that's his right tyre.
And Kieran McDonald dropped. He apparently had lots of pens.
And
Julio's going to take P3.
It's just started to rain. Oh,
and,
God.
Oh, well, you can say that you're technically right about the rain then, Jared. Yeah, you can take that dub. But what was looking for like a really good race for Renault, right at the end, as Matthew gets the driver of the day, of course, fully deserved. What was looking like a really good day for Renault has actually turned on its head and been a really good day for Racing Point. But of course, in the end, it's Matthew Alder once again in the top spot, taking back-to-back wins now, taking the win in Spain and again in Brazil, followed by Rocco Walsh and Julio in third, the Brazilian getting on the podium for his home crowd, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. So, yeah, the full grid order, or the finishing order now. Matthew Oler taking the win, fully deserved from 14th, my driver today as well. Rocco Walsh in second from P4, so not too much of a change there. Julio, despite his grid penalty, fights back to third. Ollie Flavel, a really good drive from him, 15th to 4th as well. So lots of people's really nice drives. Nino 5th, Brandon Glover in 6th, Ryan of course with that late puncture demoting him down to 7th, Kieran McDonald in 8th, Matthews 9th, Zeus in 10th, and Pedro in 11th. Those two with a very late incident. I'm sure that it isn't the end, that isn't the last that we'll hear of that incident, is what I'm saying. Casper Geing in 12th, and then Lewis Curtis a lap down in 13th, and then Cornelius Devin, Thomas, Gavin, and Lee all DNFing.
Well then, very interesting race that was. The only issue is now we're gonna have to, with the new party system.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to actually private message them and invite them. So that is gonna be fun.
Could you do that, or do you want me to do it?
Who's the top 3 again?
Matthew, Rocco, and Julio. BRT Julio.
Right. Oh, this is annoying.
Yeah. Just PlayStation blessed us, of course.
Please be online. And he's not appearing online on his CRG account. I might actually not be able to invite them for some reason.
Okay, hang on, I'm gonna try myself then. Fair enough then. So, Rocco? P3 to... No, P2 actually. I'm sorry, apologies for that. Yeah, you take a very nice P2. You started down in 5th or 4th, I think. So, not too bad in that respect. But, of course, right at the end you had a few battles and also... got to watch incidents while not getting involved in them yourself. So do you want to talk us through your race then?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster to be honest, because I had a pretty decent start, tried to keep with Ryan and Tom, then was kind of battling Baz, and there was a little group behind him, and then the pit stops came, and then I think I was going to catch back up to him because there was quite a big train there, but then there was an incident in front, which caused a safety car, which I think helped me, to be honest, the safety car. And then I think I just tried to keep it clean to get no pens, because I knew a couple of drivers behind me had pens and stuff. And yeah, I think it was the last lap, I was looking in front, I was like, why is Ryan going so slow? And then I see his right front tyre flapping a bit, so it was, I would have got podium anyway, but I'll take a P2.
Yeah. Of course. In the earlier stages, well, I guess like before that incident, at least you were looking at around the P5. So, what was your kind of reaction and I guess perspective of that? If you did get a decent one of that incident.
All I remember is I was catching. There's a little group, and then about a couple seconds later, I just see Tom's car with a tyre off. And I nearly had a crash with CC Brain because I think he spun Balin Ryan, had to go off track. I was just dodging a lot of incidents today, which is a good thing.
Kev?
Yeah, sorry. I just had to mute my for a sec. So yeah, the last round in next week in Singapore. What do you think about that track then?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't done it on this game, so it's going to be, I assume, quite tough. I've done decent at it before, but it's not a strong track for me. So it'll be very interesting.
And I'm sure this P2 would give at least a little bit of confidence for next week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Another podium of the season, which is, always good.
So yeah, congratulations on your P2 and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And I think I saw Matthew run there as well.
Yes.
Of course, you took the win. Maybe before the safety car it didn't quite look like it was so guaranteed. Of course, you knew that you'd be faster at the end. But yeah, do you want to talk us through your race then?
Well, I started 14th, obviously. My plan was to start 11th, since I saw Thomas was doing really good lap times and I knew I wouldn't be able to match them. I validated that last run in the qualifying anyway, so I started 3 places lower than I would have liked, but not really that bothered about it. Then the race side, I got on a right start. Wasn't the greatest, certainly wasn't as fast as others around me, but I held my position. And then I just followed in the pack, but I think it was Nino got damage, and that broke the DRS between all of the medium and soft runners. And as soon as they got DRS, it was just impossible to catch up. Even when I took control of the pace instead of Brown, it just was too hard to catch up to that. So I thought my race, thought the maximum I could have gotten was a podium maybe. Just tried to drive around for as long as possible. I wanted to do onto the softs, and then the safety car came out on lap 17, which allowed me to have a really good chance. I knew I was back in the race, really good chance for a win, and appeared onto the softs like a lot of the people who were on mediums around me. Came out just behind Phoenix in 4th, and then my aim was just to make it up to the lead as fast as possible, and then pull away. Had to use the softs to my advantage as soon as possible, since it would be the best advantage at the start of the stint. I managed to break the DRS like I expected.
Sorry, yeah, keep
I managed to
going.
break the DRS like I expected, because the softs are really good. I got a penalty, so I was more worried about CC then, because he was within the 3-second window. But it was got up to like 2.9, and then a crash happened. I don't know what happened, but there was a crash. It took CC out of the race, and then I knew it was pretty much secure. And I had to go at fast lap as well, which I got, but Lewis unfortunately took it because he spun himself and went on to fresh softs.
Yeah, and I have to ask, of course, Jared was kind of questioning it. Were you confident that the softs would make it to the end fine? Because of course you had Ryan behind you. Like, were you worried about a puncture, or maybe that they'd drop off and then Ryan could come back at the end, or were you confident that that they would make it to the end fine?
I was confident that they would make it to the end. I saw. I was also very confident that they weren't going to drop off because I was like behind Timer D. I think he was the last one to pit from the softs at the start of this race, and he appeared on like lap 15, and he started inside the top 10. So he already used those tyres once in qualifying, and then went like another 15 laps in the race. And like me and him were basically similar pace the entire lap. It was just minor gains that I had on him, so I knew they wouldn't drop off, especially because I had one less lap at the start of the stint as well.
Yeah, and of course next week you have said that you're starting last, not setting a quality lap, so obviously you're going to have a lot of work to do next week. What do you think that you could do? Of course, very difficult to overtake there as well.
Well, probably be a good amount of dive bombing, I would imagine. It's probably going to be the best way to get through the back pack at the start, since obviously the DRS. I'm quite happy. I'll probably go for a top 3. Depends on how many people actually turn up, since it's quite inconsistent, considering we had like 18 this week and like 13 before. But I think there'll be a chance for the win, since I'll be doing Singapore this week anyway, and I already have because of a separate event. So
yeah. Well, congratulations on your win. Of course, from 14 is completely deserved. My driver of the day, and good luck for next week. Any luck with Julio, Jared?
No, I've got no luck on him.
Okay. Well, then I think I'm going to end the stream there then. Of course, that has been Brazil for round 10. Obviously, be sure to join us next week for the final round of the season, round 11 at Singapore, where Matthew's going to be starting last. So we should see some nice dive bombs from him. And of course as well, tomorrow we have F3 and F5 going as well, with I'm pretty sure both of them still have the title fights with people in contention. So actually F3 quite close, within 11 points I think, or 10 something. So yeah, they're all to play for, so be sure to join us then, and apart from that, good night.